Well, that's right. That's how cold it was here in Pennsylvania. I put me toque. Put me good Canadian toque on, eh? It's freezing here. I'm actually in surprisingly good spirits considering what just took place in the mud, nonetheless. You know, I guess when a horse races bad and it is glaringly obvious that something is going on, it's easier to take than if he was just kind of flat or made a break or did something like that. And there was no I didn't mince any words. I was going down the road with Macho Martini today. He had other plans. A severe power outage was reported just as they said go. I was hoping that maybe, you know, I'd never driven him before. Maybe he just doesn't leave that good. I don't think so. Feels terrible. He didn't run. I can tell you that. He never offered to run. And just couldn't keep up to cover. Couldn't muster any sort of, I would say, sub 29, 28 and a piece quarter. Even when we stepped on it down the backstretch, he was immediately out of soap. He didn't want no more. There was no more to offer. And I couldn't really blame him. It was glaringly obvious to me that something was up, and I was just going to have to ride it out. So he ended up with a poor line, pulled up, and obviously I was disappointed. Tim was disappointed, but we both knew something was up. Took his blood, or didn't take his blood, scoped him, and found a ton of mucus. You know, this weather isn't just hard on you and I, right? I know that my daughter was coughing last night, woke up with mucus in her nose. My wife, same way. Me, I wasn't too bad because I'm superhuman. But, it is hard on everybody, and these are living, breathing animals. I say it all the time, and, you know, sometimes they can also get congested and stuffed up, and there's not very much you can do about it on the spot, right? We can treat it and make sure we treat it aggressively and that we can mitigate it for next week or eradicate it, so to speak. But on the spot, even if we had a scoped him today, your only option was to scratch, which obviously we didn't scope him. We had no reason to. When I went up to the horse, he looked bright. He had no discharge from his nose or anything like that. I had no reason to believe he wasn't on the up and up. Clearly, I was wrong. So a wasted start, but you know you're going to have those, and I hear it all the time. You know, we're so spoiled because we've had horses that get on a roll, have been racing so good that people just want to keep racing them, right? And when things don't feel good, you're better to take a step back, especially with real good horses. Mediocre horses are going to have their days where they're off and they're on, and sometimes you got to push through. But when a really good horse says, or a horse that you think is a good horse, or a horse that's been good, gives you the feeling that something's up, time to take a step back a little bit. I'm making reference to, I had a couple of emails from clients and friends that said, you know, White Tiger hasn't really been raced that heavy. Does he need a week off? Yes, because he told me he needed a week off. When I drove him, he was a little bit on the right shaft. He raced a little flat. He didn't scope bad. His blood wasn't horrible. But he didn't feel great. Was it the weather? Could have been. But we're going to give the horse a week off and race him the week after, because that's what I felt, Dominic felt, and Amy, who takes care of the horse every day, she also felt he just wasn't quite himself. Ran down a little bit left hind, over on the right shaft. Didn't really show any lameness, walking, jogging, but wasn't himself. So rather than spend money looking for a diagnosis of something that may not be there, you know, maybe strained a muscle, maybe bruised his leg. Who knows? It could be a million things. The first thing you have to do is start listening to the horse. Much like this horse today, he's not going to race next week. I'll tell Tim just to give him a week off. We'll come back swinging with him. But they are living, breathing animals, and it's easy to get caught up in it and say, oh, you know, is there anything the vet can do? Can we just treat them up and keep going? Sometimes you can, but a lot of times you're just kicking that can down the road. And a lot of times when you race a horse when he's not at his physical peak or her physical peak, what you do is end up taking away starts on the end. They get tired more quickly. They get burned out more easily. And a lot of these horses, like Macho Martini or White Tiger, they are a little bit older. But take care of them, they'll take care of you. So Macho Martini will get a week off. He did scope, as I said, full of mucus. Even a couple of flecks of blood. But in this particular case, that's acceptable considering the amount of mucus that was found in that airway. And White Tiger is getting a week off because he quietly asked for one. That's why. And this isn't new. I mean, this goes with a lot of our horses where they just get Sailor at a little pus pocket. Sure, we could wire that, put a bar shoe on him and race him next week, but you know how that story ends, right? You've seen that story before. We've done this a lot of times. So Sailor also will get a week off. So that's that for the track. No more need to. That's 5.5 minutes about a horse that raced poorly and scoped, obviously, consistently with what we saw on the track is plenty. The sale today, as I said, as I predicted many times before over the last couple of years, the sale just runs hot. This sale, the London sale, historically and definitely the last 2, 3, 4 years that I've been going there with the intention of purchasing horses, whether it be the virtual sale during the pandemic, this sale, or the sales before, runs hot. It's a seller's sale. That's the way it is. And again, I'm going to have people that say, you're absolutely wrong, that horse was worth the money. Hey, great. If you think that horse was worth the money you paid or you that it went for, then awesome. From my point of view, many of them were not. I guess none of it matters. If I preach how we don't know in October and we'll find out in July, then what's it matter, I guess, at the end of the day? My job is to find what I believe is bargains for you, for our clients. That's my job. And I think we did a great job with the two that we bought. Unfortunately, they were of the gate that we don't generally go after. But value is value. And I preached it in an earlier video, and I hope everybody understood what I was trying to say. I really don't care. I never go that way. I really don't care. Jurisdiction, gate, sex, color. At the end of the day, it has to be about value. And I just didn't find any value in the horse. I was close on a couple of them, but did not find value with the vast majority of the horses that we were interested in. Now, I think we found an abundance of it. If you're willing to roll the dice on all bets off, and at that price, I just don't see how we can't, then I think we got a great deal with that horse. And with the filly, again, first crop sire, McWicked, those averages at Lexington are inflated. It's super strong sale too. The difference between Lexington and here is it's all jurisdictions. It's 900 and some horses as opposed to 195 Ontario breds selling in Ontario. So it's not to say that Ohio, now this sale wasn't high, but the 2 years previous were really through the roof. And Lexington can be too. I'm not trying to say that, Ontario is this abnormally expensive sale. It's not. It just was abnormally expensive. That's the way it is. So we get the horses that we took what we were given. And it doesn't matter how many of our clients, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're otherwise, if you stick to the plan and are just buying an affordable amount of horse, it doesn't matter where you come from or what your bank account looks like. It has to be about affordability and value for me. I believe we found it in the $180,000 tactical landing filly that we bought in Lexington, and I believe we found it in the Pacers we bought yesterday, and I didn't think that I found it anywhere else in that sale. And that's really what it boils down to. So poor Danny and Amy. Amy didn't end up going because Addie was sick. Danny was all down there by himself looking at all the horses and sat there all day and bid on like 6. And I think we were close on 1, but really got blown out of the water all day. That's the way it is. You got to stick to your guns. And, I'm the type of person where we're very flexible when it comes to our training of each horse. We're very flexible about what we do in the barn, how we race our horses, where we race our horses. But there has to be a tether. There has to be something that holds us all together, and it has to be that value-based look at sales and at purchasing horses. And when it comes to the sales, it's the one thing in my life I take very, very, very seriously. And, we stick to the plan best we can, and I think we did when it came to the Ontario sale. So, as I said, I'm not trying to dump on the sale. It was a great sale for the breeders, which is good for Ontario, and everybody that got what they wanted, good for him. I explained to you yesterday that even though James paid what I thought was too much for his horse, he got the horse that he wanted. And if that's what you go to the sale to do, great. There's nothing wrong with that. We just approach it a little bit differently. So I'm going to let you guys go. This video won't be posted till I get to Northfield. I am getting a little low on data again. But I did want to bring you an update on Macho Martini. Not really a big deal. The horse raced bad. But he's been racing good. He's got a first, a second, and made that break where he was going to be first or second again. And today it sucked that I drove 5 hours here in the rain, snow, and then raced in the mud to get smashed into smithereens. But that's racing. That's what we all have to sign up for sometimes. So whether you're watching it at work and cursed under your breath, or you're Anthony cursing under his breath in the mud, today wasn't a great day for Macho, but he'll bounce back. So I'll talk to you guys. I'll give you maybe a little video depending on how we do tonight. I'm hoping that the rain stops at Northfield around 7 or 8 because I don't race until 10. Maybe they can dry the track up a little bit. We'll see. One can always hope. Take care.